Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke, together with Rev Yutaka Yamada. Today is Thursday, the 31st of July, 2025, or the 7th of June in the 13th year of Chongalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanji Champumninge Kyongbe. Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가전맨세 3. 전국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 판조권을 완수할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 3. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges to perfect the 4 great realms of heart, the 3 great kingships, and the realm of the royal family by centering on true love. Thank you. Just want to share that Father's prayer that he gave at the Holy Wedding. With earnestness piercing and flowing from our hearts, we are aware that this is a time when this echoing, beating pulse and this one streak of the movement of blood and flesh felt in our hearts can replace the original heart. Heavenly Parent, as you brought about this one day that you sought over and over again for 6,000 years, we thank you for bringing about this day in history and for allowing your daughter to be able to set up the new course of a mother in front of the cosmos. I express my gratitude as this is a time being a victorious day today through which you have appeared in front of all things that have perfected their heavenly nature in the universe that you created, and that this time is one through which you have been able to claim victory for the first time in front of the satanic world by being equipped with a condition for liberation by finding this one day. I know that now is a time through which we can claim victory and Satan carries the sorrow of defeat, a time when our lives and satanic people's lives will be transposed. O heaven, please raise the banner of victory. O earth, please offer joy in return to the Heavenly Parent. Glory, glory, unending glory. I know that this hour is one in which heaven and earth come together in joy. May all descendants in the entire universe delight in this joyful time for eternity. Heavenly Parent, even if we are to die, allow us to march on toward the satanic world and invest our heart and soul in establishing your children as heroes within restoration as soon as possible, and to make this pledge to you. Please accept your daughter who has been established today. Crown her with a laurel of victory and allow her to become a daughter that can cut off all your sorrow and resentment. May the time ahead of us, as of this day, become one of victorious glory alone, and I sincerely hope that you are always present within the lives of all members. I pray this under the name of the person you have sent, Arju. Thank you, and let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka as he shares this morning.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining today's morning Hondoke. Today is the last day of July. So already finished 1 month or so. Let's reflect well and let's prepare for the new month, the August. Each day is a precious time. Let's offer the victory to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. So thank you. I arrived in Malaysia and I'm also meeting several meeting here. And also there is education contents or several things. So I hope I also can bring and use for the Oceania Providence. So thank you everyone. Okay, so today let's continue to study the epic history of chosen Han people of Korea. Okay. So now chapter 10, Liberations regarding the only begotten daughter and the advent of the true parents. So please, Mrs. Jinny, please.
The family that received the only begotten daughter. The mother and maternal grandmother of the only begotten daughter, Hongsune Daemonim and Jo Won Mo, pursued fervent lives of faith in the spirit-led churches that prepared for the birth of the only begotten daughter. Thus, they were able to inherit the foundation of the faithful work offered in those spirit-led churches. Hongsune had attended the Presbyterian Church until she was 19 years of age. Then, under the guidance of her mother, Jo Won Mo, she connected with the spirit-led community, after which she dedicated her life of faith to welcoming the Lord at his second coming.
Yes, thank you. So last section we studied about the providence of spirit-led church, the denomination providence we could see. In this part, I talking about the Temonim and also Cho Wonmo harmony, grandmother. So when we see about the true mother's family background, we could see already from grandmother, I'm not sure before grandmother, so already grandmother time period, they had the strong connection with Christianity. They had the strong faith of the Christianity or Christianity foundation. And especially grandmother and mother, Temonim and the Chowomo grandmother belonged to the spirit-led church. They offered a special chance and condition and prepared to welcome the second advent of the Messiah. And also grandmother Chowomo had a strong faith and automatically Temonim, the mother of true mother, received the education of the Christianity and guided well. So you can see this is the grandmother and also mother. The family that received the foundation of devotion from spirit-led communities. Grandmother Choomno and Honsune Temonim participated in the spirit-led community, offering chansong for the birth of the only begotten daughter. Honsune Temonim established a connection with the spirit-led community and dedicated herself to a life of faith to receive the Lord of the second advent. So around that moment, the all spirit-led church or Christianity atmosphere was so much excited. Now, the second advent Messiah would be alive in the Korean Peninsula. So that kind of the Holy Spirit or awakening movement was happened, and especially those spirit-led church receive the liberation. The second advent Messiah is coming on this earth through women's body and also come with the human body or physical body. So that's why they are exactly offered and prepared for welcoming that moment. So you could see this is the grandmother Cho Won Mo, devout Christian faith, New Jesus Church, Holy Lord Church faith. So she already connected those central spirit-led church. And Honsne Temonim absolutely follow the grandmother and really strong faith to Jesus Christ and to welcome the second advent of the Jesus Christ. So you could see New Jesus Church is 3 years, Holy Lord Church is 8 years, and inside the womb church 4 years. So Honsne Temonim belong to, join to those central the Christian Spirit-led Church Community Group. Okay, please.
In 1933, at the age of 19, Hongsune Daemonim became a follower of evangelist Hwanguk Ju, who was bringing down works of the Holy Spirit. While at Gangyo, during an evangelical tour with Reverend Kwang and his disciples that had begun in Anju and was set to conclude in Shinyuju, Hongsune received the revelation, "Return to your hometown." She left the tour and returned home. For the next 3 years until 1936, along with her mother, Jo Won Mo, she attended the New Jesus Church, founded by Pastor Lee Yong-do, repenting and praying in tears each day in preparation to welcome the Lord at his second advent. Then for 8 years, beginning in 1936, they were devoted members of Kim Song-do's Holy Lord Church, and for 4 years, beginning in 1944, at the Inside the Womb Church, led by Hyo-ho Bin, who had inherited Kim Song-do's mission. They continued to make preparations to welcome the returning Lord.
Yes, thank you. So this part, it's explaining about the story of Honsune Temonim, the mother of true mother. So when Temonim was young or in childhood time, already she had the strong faith and she went to the witnessing activity through several communities. And it says that even she was the 19 years old, she loved a lot the Jesus Christ and she was seeking the second Advent Messiah by herself and she experienced the many things. So grandmother stayed together, support together, and always we could see Temonim's commitment and also action was also strong. And could you recognize those persons' name here? Lee Yeon-do, Kim Sun-do, Ho Ho-bin. So they are the prepared, the central figure or prepared pastors during that moment, and the Temonim had the connection with them. So when we see the Temonim lifestyle or attitude or life of faith, we could see how much she was preparing seriously the welcoming the special moment. Please.
It was the positive guidance and support of her mother, Jo Won Mo, that enabled Hongsune to devote herself to religious life. Jo Won Mo was a progressive woman who, despite the patriarchal social atmosphere of the time, had not discouraged her daughter, Sune, from taking time away from home to participate in evangelical journeys, and even encouraged her to seek out Mrs. Kim Song-do's church. She also provided both spiritual and material support for her daughter's dedicated religious life in both the Holy Lord Church and the Inside the Womb Church. Later, she also helped with the birth and upbringing of the only begotten daughter, the true mother. The family foundation for the birth of the only begotten daughter was established on the basis of the cooperation between this mother and daughter, who had been living a devout life of faith in the spirit-led Christian community of the time. They prepared the foundation for victory in the providence for completing the ideal of creation centered on the only begotten daughter, true mother.
Yes, thank you. So it says that I will read a little bit again. It was the positive guidance and support of her mother, Cho Won-mo, that enabled Honsune to devote herself to religious life. Cho Won-mo was progressive woman who, despite the partial social atmosphere of the time did not discourage her daughter Sune from taking time away from home to participate in evangelical journeys, and even encouraged her to seek our Mrs. Kim Sondo's church. She also provided both spiritual and material support for her daughter's dedicated religious life in both the Holy Lord Church and Inside Womb Church. Later, she had also helped with the birth and upbringing of the only begotten daughter, the true mother. So we can see these things. How much prepared the family foundation for true mother and how important it is. So grandmother 조원모 believed Temonim, helped Temonim, and totally supported and gave the opportunity to Temonim to grow up her life of faith and connection with Jesus Christ. So Temonim, the mother of true mother, receive those kind of environment and grow up right way or also the strongly. That's why it says that they prepared the foundation for victory in the providence for completing the ideal of creation centered on the only begotten daughter through mother. So we could see even grandmother level or even mother's level already those preparation was there. Okay, please.
Hongsune Daimonim and Hansun-un Debunim. Hongsune Debunim, Hansune Debunim, and Hongsune Demunim met while devotedly practicing their faith at the New Jesus Church. They were married on March the 5th, 1934, with Pastor Lee Ho Bin of the New Jesus Church officiating. After preparing for 6,000 years, Heavenly Parent made the final decision to bring about the birth of the only begotten daughter, later the bride in the marriage supper of the Lamb, in their family. During the course of this faithful Christian life, Han Sun-un Dabunim had joined Pastor Lee Yong-do in establishing the New Jesus Church in 1933. Working closely with Pastors Lee Yong-do and Lee Ho-bin, the leaders of this spirit-led church, Han Sun-un practiced a deep life of faith and was entrusted with the position of education director in the church at its main training center.
Yes, thank you. So this story is about the Tebunim. So we heard many times about the Temonim. Honsune Temonim. Hon is also family name, right? Honsune. Honsune Temonim. Te is great. The mo is mother. So Temonim is great mother because they are the she is the mother of true mother. So Honsune Temonim, and true mother's father is Han Sun-un. So family name is Han. So Han Sun-un, Tebunim. Te is great, then Bu is father. That's why great father. He is the father of true mother. So we can see Temonim and Tebunim. There are many important meetings between Tebunim and also another spiritual leaders. So Tebunim himself met the several leader of the spirit-led churches. So when he attended or joined this spirit-led church, he was also receiving many special guidance and also the led by those connected with this meeting, and he received, inherited those spiritual foundation, and finally Tebunim and Temonim, their meeting prepared the foundation of the birth of the only begotten daughter through mother. That's why Tebunim, Temonim, they went through the course of the life of faith. They received that training, and finally they got the marriage. And because of these things, the foundation or confirmation of the birth of the only begotten daughter was happened, and finally also through father received the appointment as the second advent of the Messiah. So last chapter already we studied that father received the special meeting with Jesus Christ in 1935. Then before that, Tebunim, Temonim got the marriage ceremony in 1934, 1 year before that. So those things was happened, a similar moment. 혼순의 Temonim and 한승은 Tebunim meet at the New Jesus Church. 혼순의 Temonim and 한승은 Tebunim met under Heavenly Parents' guidance and married in 1934 while practicing their faith at the New Jesus Church. After marriage, both lived putting the faith as their top priority. Okay, please.
Daimonim and Debunim met and married while devotedly practicing their faith at the New Jesus Church, and they prioritized their religious life over their family life, even after marriage. According to the custom of the time, Hongsune would have left home and followed her husband, who moved from place to place as a school teacher, who went where he was most needed. Instead, she continued to live with her mother and immersed herself in her religious life. Han Sung-eun understood and respected his wife's choice to focus on her religious calling, and their joint contribution to that calling created the family-level foundation for the advent of the only begotten daughter.
Thank you. So we can see the Temonim's the attitude or investment for the providence. So looks like she has the strong passion and strong commitment for the providence or for the faith of the Jesus Christ. So when we see our movement, we can see there are strong breast wife women, right? And also in Japan, True Father sent many Japanese breast wife to all over the world to fulfill the God's providence. Around 160,000 women missionaries providence was there. So those lady, I think many of you also had this kind of a strong passion and went to the mission country as the breast wife also, right? So we could see those wife had a strong passion. So Temonim spirit or faith was also strong. So she received the liberation, and even after get marriage, she went to the mission field and share the gospel and seek the meeting or moment of the Jesus Christ. So Temonim's life or attitude, we could see. She was 19 years old, or she went several years already. And even after get marriage, also she went to the mission field. So 혼순의 Temonim and 한승은 대부님. 한승은 대부님 served as the director of the education department at the New Jesus Church, practicing his deep faith. So New Jesus Church, it was one of the prepared spirit-led church for welcoming the second advent Messiah and also only begotten daughter. You see, this is the father of true mother. 혼순의 태모님, this is the 혼순의 태모님 continued her life of faith together with grandmother Cho Wonmo and 태부님. Respectively, they prepared the foundation for the birth of the only begotten daughter. So, this is the Bible quote. Then one of the seven angels who held the 7 bowls containing the 7 last plagues, came and said to me, "Come with me, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." So these things is happening. The advent of the only begotten daughter and the Republic of Korea. If it's a son, he will be the king of the universe. If it's a daughter, she will be the queen of the universe. So this liberation was happened to the Temonim. So before through mother's birth, Temonim already received this liberation. So if it's a son, he will be the king of the universe. If it's a daughter, she will be the queen of the universe. So exactly those liberation was coming to Temonim and our only begotten daughter, the mother of universe, our true mother, was born through Temonim. So direct liberation through Temonim about the birth of the first coming of the only begotten daughter from heavenly parent. So this one was continuously happening. So providential significance of the marriage of Han Seung-un Taebunim and Honsune Taemonim, the things. So birth feel of the only begotten daughter. And the providential meaning of the marriage of Han Seung-un Taebunim and Honsune Taemonim, inheritance of the Christian foundation. So this is the Pastor E. Hobin. When this righteous man and woman marry and have a child, a daughter, she will become the queen of humankind. So this E. Hobin, he gave also this kind of message to this couple, the Honsune Temonim and Tebunim. So we could see through the life of Temonim and Tebunim, they went through the preparation course, and also their marriage will be connected to our true mother. So this is the last part of this chapter 10. So we could see how spirit-led church were prepared by heaven, prepared by heavenly parent, and this is the kind of the conclusion or last part of the Christianity for welcoming the only begotten daughter. So we could see many providence was there at that time. Okay, so we could see that. So maybe a little bit we can continue to the next chapter. Chapter 11, the marriage supper of the Lamb and the advent of the true parents. So we can see the next chapter. This is the order of the chapter 11. The cosmic holy wedding, marriage supper of the Lamb, and the advent of the true parents. Okay, please read.
Heavenly Parents' dream was for Adam and Eve to grow to full maturity, receive Heavenly Parents' blessing on their marriage, form a true family, and become the true parents of all humanity. However, Adam and Eve fell, delaying the fulfillment of the dream of realizing a true family. Heavenly Parent made a plan to reconnect to this original goal by sending the only begotten Son and only begotten daughter to establish heavenly families through heaven's families through the marriage supper of the Lamb. 2,000 years ago, on the foundation of the providence of restoration, the only begotten Son, Jesus, was sent. But because the central figures of that time, including Joseph and Mary, Zechariah and John the Baptist, could not fulfill their responsibilities, and the people of the time were unable to attend Jesus, the only begotten daughter could not be sent.
Thank you. So it's talking about the heavenly parent dream and the Adam and Eve's fall and the providence of restoration and the only begotten Son Jesus Christ and the only begotten daughter, our true mother. So this is the summary of the history, and we could say it is the essence of the history. So, 한민족, the heavenly parents' dream and wish. So please read.
Heavenly Parents' dream was to create the first human ancestors, man and woman, in the divine image, so that when they grew to maturity and became one in love, Heavenly Parent could dwell within them as true parents and live together with them. As Heavenly Parents' wish was to establish one family of humankind centered on Heavenly Parent, together with the victorious true parents and their children living in the kingdom of heaven on earth, and then when they ascended to the spirit world, to live together with them eternally in the kingdom of heaven in heaven.
Thank you. So this is the heavenly parents' dream and wish. So we could see this four position foundation. So individual level, family level, and also this is the age. So the first age centering on Adam and Eve, and second time the Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and also current era, the returning Messiah and the only begotten daughter, through mother. So first one is the heaven's dream. So originally, God's dream would be fulfilled, centering on the Adam and Eve, but it was not fulfilled. So providence was postponed to the Jesus Christ time. So 2000 years ago, Jesus was sent as the only begotten Son, but due to the failure of central figures, the birth of the only begotten daughter became impossible. So originally, this providence should have been done or happened at the Jesus time, but it was not happened. That's why it was postponed until current age. So later, heaven sent the only begotten daughter and called forth the returning Messiah for the wedding feast of the Lamb. So finally, the moment came, centering heavenly parent and the returning Messiah, the only begotten daughter, came for the first time, and also the children. That is the final slide today, please.
Heavenly Parent had prepared the Korean people, and after Jesus' crucifixion, established them as the chosen people among whom the only begotten daughter could be sent. On the foundation laid over the subsequent 2,000 years, Heavenly Parent sent Hak Jahan as the only begotten daughter and called Moon Sun Myung as the Messiah at the second advent. In 1960, the marriage supper of the Lamb established them as the true mother and true father, bringing about the advent of true parents.
Yes, thank you. So finally, Heavenly Parent sent Han Hakja as the only begotten daughter and called Moon Sun Myung as the Messiah at the second advent. And also marriage supper of the Lamb, the holy wedding ceremony was held in 1960, and finally the true parents emerged on this earth throughout whole human history. So we could see this is flow centering Korean Peninsula. So how heaven prepared through the Korean Han people. Heaven sent several religions, and also finally, heaven guide the Christianity to the Korean Peninsula, spirit-led church, and also the parents and grandparents of True Mother, and finally, the meeting between True Mother and True Mother was happened, and the emergence of the true parents were established. So through learning this history, we can also understand deeply more about background of our true mother, the background of the even history. So through these things, we can also realize the heart of Heavenly Parent, wish of Heavenly Parent, and dream of our Heavenly Parent. So today we learned those things. Let's continuously pray and support share this message to our citizen of our country and to make them as the citizen of 전일국. So thank you for joining today's morning Hundoke. Have a great time. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you very much, Rev Yutaka, for sharing and really helping us see more clearly the process of how the only begotten daughter was finally given birth on earth, and just looking at the family foundation for the only begotten daughter. It talked about the cooperation between mother and daughter, and that was an essential part that enabled the success of the only begotten daughter. And as we know, we saw that Damon was given the possibilities of if it's a boy, it'd be the king, and if it's a girl, it will be the queen. And we know the different circumstances, that different central figures always missing the point or missing the full offering, like kept like the spending the money to build the bridge, and just kept one coin or however much it was, to buy some sandals. And that made the sort of circumstance that led towards the birth of the only begotten daughter. Otherwise, a son could have been born. There's so many different circumstances, so many different things that central figures do, that causes the success or the frustration of God's will. As we know, hitting the rock twice and going around the desert, and the spies not giving faithful reports. So many opportunities for God's will to go forward, but also so many opportunities are missed because of many different factors, always influenced by the satanic realm. And so we had, for the family foundation, the cooperation between mother and daughter. And so at the same time, for the family foundation, we had mother and son cooperation that led to the birth of the only begotten son. So I found it interesting that in both cases there was a cooperation between mother and child, mother and daughter, to bring about the only begotten daughter, and mother and son to bring about the only begotten son. And I saw that connection, and also thought about the fact that Damon and Dabunim, they were married in 1934, and there could have been, if circumstances, Father said, if Korean Christians had accepted and he had the support, then there would have been a different outcome. And so, 1934, we know in 1935 is where Jesus chose True Father to be the person that would inherit his position as the Messiah. So, potentially there could have been, if things were set up correctly, the birth of the only begotten daughter could have happened the following year of their marriage. And father was 15 or 16, and mother 17 at the blessing. That potentially means that father could have been 32 or 33 if circumstances were different, or the National Foundation was successful at the time, right after the Second World War, 1945. If they had accepted, then probably Korea would not have been divided in two, but we know that that's not what happened. So instead of potentially father being 33 and mother 17, ended up being father being 40, and we have the situation of today, and mother working hard to bring about the restored nation of Korea, and us working to bring about at least 1/3 of humanity to understand the truth. So anyway, some interesting understanding I had this morning, and thank you, and open it up to anyone else that'd like to share. Thank you. Yes, Janine, go ahead.
I know that we've read in speeches before about Father saying how it was important that there were the three women, like the grandmother, and then but reading this, I just really felt, even from a practical perspective, that that the grandmother allowed Daimonim to be able to pursue all those things. She absolutely dedicated herself, and if she had have been like a wife or a mother, normal wife or mother, and not had that foundation, that support, that she couldn't have done it. But she, because of grandmother Joamo, she could just totally dedicate herself, and also the important role that Daimonim had gave too, because he actually let her do it as well. He enabled her to totally dedicate herself to pursuing the spiritual life, and also to supporting True Mother. Anyway, just how practically it was so important. The foundation was so different to Jesus. Precious.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Rai, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
When Sunday morning, Reverend John reading Father's message, and in that sentence, when Father was 26 years old, if the Father supported God's will, the mother would have been chosen at that time. I was praying a few days, still no answer. And because when True Father was 26 years old, 1946, then at that time, True Father had already married 1 year, 2 years before. Then also, Father had one child Then also special that year, father was asked to go North Korea, 1946. That things happened, then how can be that time? But also that time, true mother was 3 years old. Then how we can understand? I was praying what is meaning of what things to be happened, then mother would have been chosen at that time. When father was 26 years old. Then just I was really praying, and so not yet answer came from. What is Rev John?
Oh, yeah, I remember when mother was saying or started to say that mistakes were made, and one of the mistakes that sort of that mother said was that he should not have married. He should have waited for mother, and what caused him not to wait, or I don't know, but because of that, going to North Korea and going to Hungnam was to in a strong indemnity condition for that mistake, is what I sort of understand. And if circumstances were different, then maybe father wouldn't have felt that desperation to try another way, not sure of the emergence of, because he never proclaimed that marriage as being, the marriage of the Holy Lamb, or had any ceremony in regards to becoming true parents or anything like this. So he knew in some way that this was an option that he did as just in case. But I think it was circumstances, because I mean, if people did different things and circumstances, uh, like one thing that father mentioned about Jesus, that he relied too much on miracles, and said that that was sort of a mistake, and yet we have miracles happening through our true mother, through unity. And that was the difference between Jesus and mother. Mother, miracles happen through unity, while Jesus was doing miracles to gain unity, instead of having unity and then miracle. He was using miracles to gain the unity. So even the main central figure has to do it on their own, and the choices they make also affect the way the outcome is brought about. So I think, if circumstances were different, then the birth of mother could have been earlier, and they could have had, but and then father said, it needed the support of the nation, needed the support of the Korean Christians, then the outcome would have been different. But I think it's like Moses hitting the rock twice. He could see from a distance but couldn't enter, because even though he was the main person, still the personal responsibility can't be removed. But anyway, that's my own sort of own personal thinking. Maybe Rev Yutaka has some other thought about that.
Thank you. I think this also is similar based on those explanation, because the second and the Messiah, father's that time the main the providence should be uniting all Christianity to welcome the only begotten daughter. That's why surely Father received the revelation about the bride of bride of the Messiah in 1942, 1943, around that time, because Father's first marriage that year was in 1943, around that time, but actually that year was the year when True Mother was born. That's why surely there is also the Father's mission providence. So originally, if True Father could focus to make a foundation, a unity of Christianity that time, then maybe some different story would have been happened around that time. So anyway, we have to study more and more. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It is, looks like it is time now for us to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just bring up the screen again. Yes. Okay. Thank you, and let's pray together. Thank you. Jew. Thank you, Rev Yutaka. Thank you, everyone, for sharing, and I hope everyone has a great day, and see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good day.